Welcome to episode 3 of Playcallers. Today we're going to be breaking down Auburn's loss against Enterprise on today's special episode, and let's get right into it.
You're listening to Playcallers. New episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Available to stream across all platforms. Also, be sure to check out the Tiger's Den podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Available to stream across all platforms.
Yeah, like you said, heartbreaking loss for Auburn. I know that me and Max were in the studio. We were screaming at the TV. We were crying. We had to do a post-game show after. And it was just kind of sad. But like Reese said, we got a special episode. Labor Day weekend, a lot of people made plans. We couldn't get a coach on the show this week, but we're going to do the best with what we got. So, yeah, Max, you want to?
Yeah, no, we had to improvise a little bit, call in an audible. But no, yeah, we're gonna talk about just a tough loss, and you'll hear it in the interview about Coach Etheridge. It wasn't even from what Reese told me, it wasn't even it wasn't really any tone of anger in his voice. It was more just like kind of disappointment, and it's a tough loss, but Auburn football, we will move on, and we got a tough one this week against Dothan. And so we got to put our best foot forward, especially with Dothan coming off a blowout over Percy Julian. So, but no, Taylor, but how well did we do on offense? Because we're going to break down the offense and defense. What was our offense looking like against the Wildcats?
I kind of wish you started with defense, to be honest, Max. Our offense did not look the best. There's plenty of positives, though. Jackson Kilgore did have a decent completion percentage, but he did have 3 interceptions. Like with Jackson, not his best game. He's a young quarterback, his second varsity start, actually. But, I mean, he's got to move on. He had positives. He had a good completion percentage. He'll get back on track. I was talking to Max in the studio, Omar Mabson. We were talking about him with McKinnell and Coach Smith, and they were both just talking about how insane he was. He had 15 carries for 83 yards. He averaged 5.5 yards per carry, so he had himself a game. He led this offense. He led this offense for it to be close. But he did. I think it was either him or Tyler did have a fumble that ended up with Enterprise getting the ball at the 8-yard line. So, I mean, both aspects, quarterback and running back, some positives and negatives.
Yeah.
Cody Palmer had a good game. He had 54 yards, 3 catches. He was a deep threat. Ian Nation had 4 catches for 54 yards, so 2 good receivers. I mean, we talked about them, I think, on last week's podcast, how they're like the 2 top receivers right now for Jackson. Like I was saying, Omar Mabson with that huge fumble, that really just set a dagger in our heart. And then that's about it for the offense. Like I said, not a lot of positives. But there's always positives to a football game. You could lose, like UMass lost to Auburn University. I don't even remember what the score was, by like 40-plus points, and they still had positives. Their cornerbacks played good. They stopped an SEC pass game, like, pretty well. So, yeah, just a lot of unforced errors, like 3 interceptions, the fumble led to Enterprise getting good field position, and that just led to Enterprise scoring. Enterprise's quarterback did not play the best, though. They had a running back go 20 carries for 146 yards. So he kind of carried them at that point. Right.
Insane.
All right, Max, what did the defense do this week, though?
So I'm sorry to hear that about the offense. And, I remember watching the game. And I believe so you were highlighting Omar. Omar also had her only touchdown as well. So, like, in the literal sense, he was carrying. And then Ian Nation, 4 catches for 54 yards, but he's one of our top receivers. So, like, he can, he in the future, he'll usually actually give you more than that. But moving on to the defensive side, it actually, like you said, it was mainly our offense that dragged us down in that game. But our defense did okay. The first half, they didn't do so well, allowing, quick scores. But both of the scores you got to think, and one of them wasn't even the defense's fault. One of them was a scoop and score, like you said. And so, but the other one was an interception, which they ended up scoring on. But they only had like 40 yards to get there, so because they had good field position. So, I mean, the defense didn't play terrible. And in the second half, when it came down to it, they gave us a chance to win. And we actually were winning for a while until, obviously the game-winning field goal by the Wildcats. So, and that was, once again, off of another interception. But, I mean, just a player to highlight here, Wyatt Trexler. I believe he won Player of the Week by AO.com. And off of 12 tackles, so well-deserved, 9 solo, 3 assisted. I mean, yeah, just a heck of a player at linebacker. And he had a great game, and he'll look to continue that next week against Dothan. Some other players I wanted to highlight was, I'm pretty sure, Caleb Pitts got a sack on the game, which is very tough to do because Wayne Axton, I don't think he's been sacked this year. Warren Axton.
Because we were talking about him on Countdown. I made the reference to Lamar Jackson. He is, we saw it. They run the read option a lot. He is a speedster. He is kind of like a Lamar Jackson rebirth. But, really hard to stop. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, baller, Warren Axton. But you look at Enterprise's like QB stats. I mean, I feel like these are kind of off. We're basing this off Max Prep. So what Max Preps has is 2 for 5 for -3 yards on 40% completion. I don't think that's correct. But I'm pretty sure he didn't have a great game. That's what if I remember correctly, he did not have a great game. And it was mainly because of the defense. The defense was causing havoc. You had multiple guys get 5+ tackles. And so moving forward, I would say just for keys for the defense, I would say that we need to try and, help our offense out as much as we can, which, they basically did the most they could last game, but, it just wasn't enough in the end. And I think on our defensive side, though, and this is something I saw with Auburn University a lot last year, is we need to do a better job of forcing turnovers, especially in a close game like this. Now, against Hoover, we did force like 2 or 3 turnovers, if I remember correctly. We had the Jay Mills interception, the Deuce White interception, and I think we actually recovered a fumble. So, I mean, we did great that game, but this game, I don't think we actually got a turnover, like on our side of the ball. I don't think
going back to that, Enterprise would just move the chains over and over and over again. And our defense, you could tell they were just so tired and they were so sluggish near the end, which led to that game-winning field goal, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a little bit, I hate to say, but that's a little bit due to the offense, because the offense, especially in a game that we were expecting to be super high-flying, high-scoring as we predicted in AH's Countdown, didn't turn out to be that way. But then again, these are 2 really good offenses that will wear you down. And you talked about Keon Dunlap, 20 carries for 146 yards and a touchdown, 7.3. That was his average rushing yard.
And he had that 54-yarder too that just killed the team.
Yeah. So, but also, I mean, when the offense is only out there for 3-4 minutes drive, not even that, 2 minutes of drive, and the defense just having to go back out there over and over again without any rest, and you got a great running back like Dunlap who runs hard. I mean, it's just tough. It wears down on you, and it's also deflating morally. But, I would say there's a lot of things to learn from this game, especially on the defensive side, but a lot of things done well as well. And so I'm excited to see what they do against Dothan.
Yeah. MVP of the game has to go to Towns, though. It feels like almost every single thing we do with the football team, Towns is front and center. He's the main man. He's the GOAT. He's so good. It just feels like everything we do, we talk about him, about how good he is.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't much more that he could do. He did the best he could. He went 3 for 3 on field goals and hit what we all thought in the studio was going to be the game-winning one in the middle of the fourth quarter to put us up 16-14. Turns out that wasn't the case. But, yeah, I mean, from a kicking standpoint, Towns and Tyler, I'm looking up, he had an average of 39.4 yards per punt, which I know he has that high arcing punt. That's pretty lengthy for a high arcing punt, if I do say so myself. And so I feel like, for special teams, we were solid. For
Shout
special
out Coach
teams, we were
Smith.
solid.
Shout out Coach Smith.
Yeah, shout out Coach Smith. He puts out a great group out there, and like you said, one of the best in the country. And I agree with him. So our special teams, I don't feel like this year is ever going to be our problem. Just got to limit the turnovers and also force some turnovers on defense. But if we do all that, we'll be all right, and we'll be able to exploit Dothan's high-flying offense for sure.
I feel like the rain might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, the rain. I mean,
me and Max we dropped off to our friend at the stadium so he could go in the unit. You could just tell that the rain kind of limited the city of Auburn to come out, you could feel. But then it felt like the energy was just not there the whole game because everyone was like, is it going to rain? Is it not going to rain? What's going to happen? Like, what's this weather going to do? So, I mean, yeah, you expected a bigger unit. Yeah, you expected a much larger crowd than it was. But I feel like it's not it's an excuse, but it's not a valid excuse to not play your very best,
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was on the sideline, there was a lot of guys would slip out of bounds. Like there was even one play when Enterprise was down there, and they almost got a touchdown, but there was the block in the back on the interception. There was a few guys like Omar went out of bounds and got injured, but he was fine after that. And then also one of our linemen had to get taped up because he slipped out of bounds as well. So there was it was a lot of water on the sidelines there from the rain earlier in the day. And I know it's kind of an excuse to say that maybe the rain could have if it didn't rain, maybe we would have had a lot more points scored. But rain.
I can understand that to an extent. Here's also something I thought about the other day is a lot of people are talking about, Jackson Kilgore didn't have his greatest game, but he'll surely get better. I think this will be probably his, least impressive performance all season that we'll see. But I think the reason for this performance is a lot of people are saying, Hoover season opener on the road, that was a big, it was a big mental stressor on him. I feel like this one actually probably made a lot of our players more nervous than the Hoover game. Because you got to think, home opener, you get this brand new big scoreboard. You get DeMarcus Ware's coming to town. The mayor's there. There's so much pressure on you to have a great game. And, oh, wait, you're going up against a top 5 Enterprise team who's actually really good. Probably the best they've been in over 2 decades. I feel like, they could have been overlooking Enterprise a little bit because, let's be honest, a lot of our fans that I talked to throughout the school were overlooking Enterprise, saying we were going to beat them by 28, beat the brakes off. But as a player, you're also like, oh, yeah, we got a home opener, which I don't think because Coach Etheridge – whenever I talk to him, he says they don't take any opponent lightly. They always want to outwork the other opponent, which I understand. But in the player's head, also it can be kind of nerve-wracking when you have all this stuff going on in one night. You got the rain involved, and I think all those factors just could have played into it.
I think it's better that we lost early in the season and not later in the season. Would have dwelled on us going into the playoffs, then we could have, lost first round or second round. But, this time early in the season, you can go to the next game or you can go to practice this week and just think about the loss and then also get ready for the next game and then just move on from what happened this week and then just continue to win, hopefully, for the rest of the season and make it to the playoffs.
I mean, looking to our next opponent, Dothan, I mean, you gotta move forward. You gotta move past the loss. You gotta win. You gotta win out. At this point, blue collar mentality. You work every single game. You don't take an opponent lightly. But I mean, looking at all those negatives, the outcome of the game, we did have some positives though, and I'm gonna let my boy Reese tell you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. During the game, we were, basically, it was fourth quarter, 2 minutes. I think it was about 2 minutes to go, and we had the ball on the sideline. We had
the
ball.
Positive, Reese. Positive.
Oh yeah, positive. My bad.
Yeah, what happened? What happened at the game?
Got off track there. Positives. Yeah, so DeMarcus Ware was in town. That I would say that might have gotten the team going at the start of the game. You know, a lot of the fans were there to show their support for DeMarcus coming back to Auburn and getting his award. And then, you know, we were able to, come back in that second quarter after in the first quarter, we didn't get any points and Enterprise was up 14-0. We were able to come back in the second quarter, and at halftime we made it a 4-point game, and we're able to, in the third quarter get a little closer, and then the fourth quarter take the lead. But sadly, at the end of the game, yeah. But then, so most of the game we did have trouble, but I would say the second and third quarters probably where we don't need any work. Like I would say the second and third quarter definitely is set right now. Maybe might be a few games that we don't do good in those quarters, but yeah, definitely second and third quarter we did pretty good in.
Yeah, I mean, I want to just like Taylor was starting the topic about with their upcoming schedule. I mean, it doesn't get much easier after that Enterprise game, and because we got at Dothan this upcoming Friday. And then we got Jag and Percy Julian, which those are, I think we should win those.
Don't say that,
Max. Games. We should win those games. We should.
You never know. Colorado wasn't favored.
Here's what I'm saying. But besides, I'd say Jag, Percy Julian, Smith Station. I mean, you got a stretch of 4 games after Percy Julian at Ramsey, at Opelika, at home against Central, at home against Prattville, which is not going to be an easy slate. For 4 straight weeks, or actually we have a bye week in between Opelika and Central, but you get what I'm saying. And also, I think talking about how is this team going to take this, I think we'll see that in this upcoming episode with Blue Collar Mentality, which is going to be releasing actually today. It's go watch it right now because on every Wednesday we drop a new Blue Collar Mentality episode. So we'll see how we took the loss, and then we'll see the result on the field when they play at Dothan this Friday.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good game. I don't know about high scoring because, we might – I don't know if Jackson Kilgore might play, especially –
he should play, so. But,
yeah.
So, I think we just never know with the scoring. Auburn, we thought the Auburn Enterprise game would be really high scoring, but it didn't. So I
was expecting to be like 50-something to 30, but it ended up being like 17-16, so.
Yeah. Well, I heard, Reese, that you were able to get on the sideline during this game, and we're actually able to interview a couple interesting people.
Interview DeMarcus Ware. He was in town, had a lot of his family on the sideline. I was able to interview him after the first quarter, which was a great opportunity for an interview, and he really nice guy, really good guy to talk to. He's just like he's definitely a mentor. He said he talked to the team before the game and was just prepping them for the game and telling them he's like, you guys have done so well the past few years, and coming into this game and stuff, you can't get too overconfident. You just gotta settle into the moment and just be you during the game and find yourself during this game. And then also I got to interview the mayor too. He was saying what honor it was to introduce a guy like DeMarcus at the high school stadium and stuff like that. And also DeMarcus Ware Day is officially September 1st now on a Friday, or it's on September 1st. So yeah, it's he said it was a great thing to get him have DeMarcus Ware Day. And then I also got to interview Coach Etheridge after the game. Coach Etheridge, like you said earlier, Max, like I told you, he wasn't mad, which was kind of surprising to me because I thought he would be mad, but he was kind of blaming himself for the loss, especially he just said those last few plays when we threw the interception. He said that he just he drew up the wrong play and it just wasn't what he wanted. He said he should have run the ball there, even how close he was to the goal, to their goal, and it was a great opportunity to interview those guys and stuff like that, and just hopefully get to interview bigger people next game too.
Yeah.
DeMarcus, how does it feel to be inducted into the high school Hall of Fame in Auburn tonight, and how does it feel to be back in Auburn tonight?
It actually feels great to be back home, and this right here felt like family. I mean, the Football Hall of Fame is amazing, but coming back home, seeing so many familiar faces, it felt great. And as I always say, sweet home Alabama.
Yeah. What's one inspiring thing you could say to younger kids that look up to pro football players and pro athletes?
As I was talking to the team earlier, it's not about your circumstances, it's about your attitude and your effort. If that always coincides, and if you always try to control that, because that's free. That's what I told them. You can't control the environment, you can't control some of the things that happen around you, but you can control your attitude and your effort, and that'll get you a long way.
Thank you for the interview, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Mr. Mayor, how does it feel to introduce a special player like DeMarcus Ware into the Auburn High School Hall of Fame, and also have a DeMarcus Ware Day today, as he's a special player this year?
Well, it was a tremendous honor to recognize somebody who's brought great glory to our community, who was once a child that grew up in all of our schools, played football right here on this field, and is proud to be from Auburn. And so it was very exciting to be a part of recognizing a Hall of Famer, which what a select group of people that is in the United States.
Well, thanks for the interview, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Well, we just turned the ball over 4 times. You can't turn the ball over 4 times. And 3 of them were for points.
Yeah.
We give up 2 scores in the first quarter off turnovers. Defense played great all night. We stuffed them all night, and then right there at the end, we run the little wheel route with the back, and he's wide open. Nobody's on him, and we, I don't know if he got hit when he threw it or it just came out wrong, but it just flooded on him. Linebacker got the pick, and then, just sort of, they just sort of drove down in there and got it in there for a chip shot, and the kid hit it. We just got to make sure that we just had to finish there. I thought we came out in the second half, played a lot better, starting the half, and then we sort of fizzled a little bit on offense, and defense sort of kept us in the game.
Hey, Coach, your second career start for your quarterback, and as a tough one, how much you think he can learn from something like this?
He's got to. I mean, he's got to learn from it. He's got to get better from it. We depend on him to play well, and we depend on him to make plays. And he's a young guy, and we knew coming into this season that there was going to be times where it was going to be tough on him. So he's just got to put this one behind him and get better and just play. Make his reads, and just don't try to force anything, and just play fundamental football.
What was the message to the team after a heartbreaker like this?
Just that's on me. I mean, this loss is on me. Y'all come to work on Sunday, work to get better, and let's go win this game next Friday.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you. Thank y'all guys.
And those were some powerful words we just heard from DeMarcus Ware, Ron Anders, and Coach Etheridge. And we hope y'all enjoyed this special episode. And we won't probably do many more types of these episodes, but actually, message us on Schoology or by email if you want to have more episodes like this, all y'all listening out there. But that's going to do it for today's episode. And be sure to listen to us next week, and also listen to the Tigers Den. And y'all have a great day.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition of Playcallers. Be sure to check out our episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central. Also be sure to check out our other podcast, The Tigers Den, where we dive into the world of sports. Be sure to check out those episodes coming out every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central. Thanks for listening.